And we're back in Arizona from an incredible trip to Australia. More about that another time. And what do we come back to? Well, we come back to the ruble crashing. Interestingly enough, and Chinese exports to halt to Russia. And as you guys know, we still did our live from wherever we were in Australia. That's how important this particular day is to me when I get a chance to talk to all of you and show you real-time examples of why you need physical gold and physical silver outside of the system. But the ruble's weakness is worsening inflation, with prices for essentials like food rising sharply. I mean, we can't live without food. We can't live without water. Okay, let's see. The spokesman for the Kremlin dismissed the ruble's fall, stating that Russians won't notice the dollar exchange rate increase because they are paid in rubles. We're coming back to that, so I want you to just keep that one little step. Don't worry about it. You're paid in rubles and nothing. It doesn't matter that the ruble is declining. Although the weak ruble strains domestic purchasing power, in other words, the public can't buy as much, by increasing the cost of imported goods. Well, okay, so that's what they mean. That brings in the inflation because of the imported goods. With the weak ruble, everything that you import costs more and could further increase inflation. But it helps the Kremlin by boosting export revenues because it makes their exports look cheap compared to any other currency. But to combat this, Russia's central bank raised interest rates to 21%, their highest in over 20 years, with another hike expected in December. And so what that does is it discourages the public from borrowing, right? But what it also does is it makes the ruble more attractive, at least in theory, makes the ruble more attractive for others. Hold on a second. I don't have my mic. Was that? Let me move that closer. Forgive me. I'm still on jet lag.
We're adjusting. Sorry, guys.
We just got back.
I said sorry already once.
Sunday, so
I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay.
There we go. I can hear you loud and clear. That's
Is
so
that
much
better?
better.
Okay. Just realized I didn't have a mic in my face. Sorry.
Yep. No, you're good.
Okay. But anyway, to combat this, what did the central bank do? They raised the interest rates, which again makes it harder on the public. However, it does attract foreign buyers of their currency because they're getting paid higher interest. However, 1 trillion times zero is still zero. And so I went in and I took a look at the Chinese, this is the Chinese yuan against the ruble. And over this 10-year period, with most of it happening right now, it's up almost 69%. So if you had yuan, you'd be better off. However, the Chinese companies are suffering serious losses when they're selling stuff online, and currency fluctuations eating up the margins of Chinese exporters after they make the payments. So I don't know. This is referring to imports. That means that it's costing everybody more. But when somebody in Russia locks in a price online with a Chinese company and they get paid in rubles, the ruble is weaker against the Chinese yuan. So that's a problem for Chinese companies doing business online in Russia because it eats up the margins after they make that payment. However, let's look at the US dollar in rubles. Well, wow, during that same period of time, it was up over 100%. Oh, so the Chinese yuan or the US dollar to the ruble is better than the Chinese yuan to the ruble because that pairing is more controlled between the central bank in Russia and the central bank in China. It's easy to do anything if it's just paper or digital. I mean, what's that big deal? Okay, let's look at Spot silver versus the ruble, same time frame, and almost, not quite, but 280% up. So that is 180% up during the same period of time. Isn't that interesting? And oh, by the way, it's almost breaching the high that the ruble was before they entered the war with Ukraine. How about spot gold? Let's look at that, because that has actually surpassed it, up 344% during the same time period. It passes the high prior to what happened in the Ukraine war. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that the silver and gold held if you were in Russia and you had silver and gold, do you think that held your purchasing power better than the US dollar or the Chinese yuan or anything else? The answer is yes. Let's just do a quick little review. Up almost 69%, up a little bit more than 100%, the dollar. Spot silver up 280%, and gold outperformed them all. Why? Because gold is the primary currency metal. It is what all currencies are judged against. Understand, though, this is still in relative terms. And I say that because these are all spot contracts. They're not actually the physical, which is more than likely outperforming what we've seen. Certainly, they're still severely undervalued as the ruble is losing its value yet again. This is not the first time. I remember in the late 90s when we had the currency collapse that started in Asia and then moved across to Russia. I believe my brother and sister-in-law, and if you're watching, you can verify whether or not this is accurate to my memory, but I believe that they were in Russia either when that happened or somewhere near when that happened, and the ruble absolutely collapsed. I believe it was 1,000 to 1 overnight. That's pretty significant. So any other currency that you have is going to move up against a devaluing currency. The dollar too. Why do you think spots at like somewhere around 2,700 right now when, hey, it used to be $20. That's what these face value, $20. So I know all of this sounds outrageous, but remember how I said, well, if you're buying things in terms of rubles, that's not going to matter to you. Where else have I heard that? Oh, yeah. It was when President Nixon took us off the gold standard and handed over full control of inflation to those central banks. And what did he say during that period of time? Well, if you are among the overwhelming majority of Americans who buy American-made products in America, your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today. Well, I don't know. There's the purchasing power chart. What do you think? When Nixon took us off the off the gold standard, at least at that point, it was valued, the dollar has still had 24 cents worth of purchasing power. Now it has 3. And I want to point out that this big fat zero here comes from the Federal Reserve, not my opinion, from the Federal Reserve. Every single fiat currency, every single one, there are no exceptions to this rule over 4,800 times. Government debt-based money goes to zero. That's its fundamental value. On the flip side of that, what's the fundamental value of gold and silver? Is it what the spot markets are telling you? Because if you really believe that Wall Street is giving you any level of good price discovery, there is this bridge in Brooklyn that I would love to sell you. Okay, not really, because I have more integrity than that. But this is why you need physical gold, physical silver in your possession, because I'm pretty sure that Russians wish that they had more of it. People ask me all the time, how much should I have? Well, it depends on how much you're willing to lose. But we over here at Zang Enterprises, so make sure that you click that QR code, call us, get your strategy in place. It's built on layers, right? So that no matter where we are in this trend cycle, you are prepared. There is a nasty storm brewing. We are seeing warning after warning after warning. Don't believe Wall Street, because how many times can you be lied to when you do not know the truth? I just showed you the truth in terms of other fiat currencies. Let me go back and show you this, right? I mean, what do you want in a major battle? Do you want this one little pen? Because I can write however many zeros as I want to, 00000. Or do you want a bazooka? Because that's what the physical metals are, a big bazooka. And now let's take questions. Okay. And Wendy Pierce, are you not sure that's your name? Because it's got lots of question marks after it. But, okay, can you explain how Bitcoin can be used as a reserve currency? And if Bitcoin is the U.S. reserve currency, could it be used to pay off part of the U.S. debt? I definitely believe that Bitcoin is a Trojan horse designed to get you used to it. I know that governments around the world, Brazil being one of them, the U.S. being another, that's talking about making it a reserve currency. But you tell me what its utility is. It has no utility. Of course, you can say the same thing about dollars. You know, it is just a tool of barter, but Bitcoin has not even proven to be that. So I cannot see it as a reserve currency. I'm not saying that they won't do it because they are grasping at straws, but it is a digital asset, a digital instrument that sucks energy out of the system. Gold and silver take energy to pull out of the ground, but they hold that energy and then it gets used in every single sector of the global economy. So I can't explain how Bitcoin can be used as a reserve currency because it needs much broader adoption and it needs some level of utility as a tool of barter. All it is here it is in digital form, right? It's not real. They just create it like this and they make it gold. They make cryptocurrencies gold, silver, and platinum appearing, right? To give it a physical, and why would they have to give it a physical body if all our lives should be lived online? It is not gold. It is not digital gold. And they can try and stuff it down our throats, but I think that we're about to see the major test of Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies. It has not gone through a test yet, but it will now. And Robin Butler asks, please do a longer video on 401 and converting over. Okay, I will do a longer video on I'm thinking 401ks and conversions. I'll tell you what, I absolutely love Australia so much. It changed my life the last time. And I feel like I went to a much deeper level of understanding and also a much deeper level of explaining. So yes, be prepared. Be prepared. Right now, I'm still a little tired, but I'm so excited about what happened in Australia and what I'm going to get to share with you. So yes, I will put that on there. Let me see. Okay. And UVP asks, martial law in full effect in South Korea, Black Swan, or is this a prediction? Desperate governments do desperate things. They can declare martial law, and hopium tells you that they will not confiscate your wealth. Not history, not reality. What do you think inflation is? It's wealth confiscation. What do you think taxation is? It's wealth confiscation. And martial law in full effect in South Korea to protect. What did they say? Hold on, let me get there. To protect. Let me just go in here because I just had this. Oh, I'm on a different laptop. Oops. Forgot about that. I'm still a little shaky. But anyway, what were they talking about? Well, they had to do that to protect their constitution and protect freedom. So they're going to take it away to protect you. Yeah, I think that should be a warning to everybody. Desperate governments do desperate things, and they have the legal right. And I will be doing all of the legal the laws that are on the books to confiscate gold in this country. That's going to be coming up very shortly. But yeah, take heed. Physical gold, physical silver. I'm telling you, this is why I personally like the collectibles. They're severely undervalued, and they're in a different category to monetary gold. It is just that simple. My Uncle Al, when it was illegal to hold more than 5 ounces, he had at least 3,000 ounces, but they were all pre-33. And you could say, well, I'm not going to give it to him. Well, but then you got to work in the black market. I personally want the kind of gold that I can execute my strategy with, and that means I need to be able to use it in the normal market. That's what my Uncle Al had. That's what I have. And you, of course, must do whatever it is that you're comfortable with. But hopium doesn't work in these circumstances. And you have to understand, we are transitioning into a new social, economic, and financial system. This is as big as the Industrial Revolution. This is the digital revolution. And there's going to be a whole lot of pain. And when we go to talk about things like Bitcoin or XRP or any of the other cryptocurrencies that hey, they're making all-time highs. That's about your adoption so that they can make that transition. Don't believe them. Let's see what happens after the test. After the test, we'll see who survives. And if you're holding gold and silver, you're going to have sound money, honest money, money that holds its energy to convert into whatever assets and whatever instruments are actually going to survive this mess. And Chris Willis, did they impeach Yoon? No, not yet, but they are talking about it. I've got to dig into it a little bit more. I mean, we did just get back very, very late Sunday night, and so I'm still getting my feet on the ground. I definitely am looking at this and will be paying attention to this a lot more. And low blood pressure said...
This is actually 2 questions in one, sorry, from 2 different people, but there's very similar questions, so I wanted to kind of combine them.
Okay, so low blood pressure and stormy 2020. Trump threatening BRICS? Pathetic. What's really going on with the Trump threat to BRICS? Is it a strategy move we can't see yet? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and find out. But the reality is that the big bully that the U.S. has been, and not just suddenly, you've got to understand this does not happen overnight. We've been threatening the BRICS, and they've created their own system. So what we don't know is how far along they are in that new system, and whether or not they've tested turning off the old system, turning on the new one. But frankly, with everything that's going on there, let's stay tuned and see what happens. I will be watching all of this too. And I'm going to ask you guys to make sure that I just have a hard copy of all the questions today so I can see what to talk about, for next week.
No
By
problem.
next week, we will be back into the normal groove. And Chris Willis asks, Australian visit highlights and key takeaways, please. Well, Adam is working on, and Arthur are both working on the reels from that. It was an incredible trip for so many reasons. I would say one of the highlights for me, I mean, there were so many, but one of the highlights, and I think you're going to see some of this, and again, it's always, every time I go there, it's like a new learning. And we brought actually Australian silver dollars with us. And we used those as tips. So we would give them some fiat money, but we would also give them a silver dollar. And the question was, have you ever held a silver dollar, silver coin in your hand? And the look on those people's faces. And so what I came to understand is we can all just blah, 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 talk as much as we want about it. But you're going to see a whole lot more of us, really using silver as a tool to teach people directly with tipping and different things to get it in their hands. That's why we have no minimum. We have a 1 ounce silver minimum because we believe so strongly that everybody needs to own gold and silver. So I would definitely say that was, for me, just the look on their face and the understanding that actions do speak a whole lot louder than words. And so maybe when you're talking to your families and your friends and you're trying to get them to see what you're talking about, how about even if you just allow them to hold an ounce of gold, to hold an ounce of silver in their hands, because there is this remembering that somewhere back in our DNA that gold and silver are money. It's why they're doing that with the cryptocurrencies, right? The other thing was, and I think I just did it so much better this time in telling the story and showing people how they make that transition, I think better than I ever have. And in fact, you guys know we've been working on a video that on what's happening and how they make that transition. And I told my guys today, both Adam and Arthur, to let's look at that video, because some of the things that I did in my presentation there need to go into this. So I do believe that I may have discovered a better way to explain this and maybe give those tools to you as well to help you, because we have to spread the word. I mean, truthfully, I love Australians so much. I'm not nuts about their government, honestly, but I just love Australia and Australians so much. And this time I actually got to pet a kangaroo and a wallaby. And now I really know the difference between the two, which I didn't before. But we got to do some more touristy stuff that I did not get to do in the first trip. And that was pretty amazing, just seeing all the different animals that you have. And I actually got to pet a Tasmanian devil. And most people, if you live in Tasmania or you're from Australia, you know that they were real. But if you're in America, used to like the Bugs Bunny cartoons, I wasn't really sure that was like real, but it certainly is real. And the babies are very sweet. I did not pet an adult Tasmanian devil because I like my fingers and my hands.
Yeah, they have the most powerful bite, I think, of any marsupial or something like that, right? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the reception, and then also the other thing that was like so amazing, and we're going to have Alistair McLeod on. I learned so much in just one little conversation with him, about credit. And this is the problem that we're having. I need to dig into this more. We're going to have him on. But what a brilliant, brilliant man. So actually getting to meet him in person was amazing. And we also were able to bring back some art, which will be hung in our new offices and posted in our new offices, because we're a global community. community, and we need to treat it that way. And so every time we travel, we're going to start pulling that in as well, because we have other places that we will be going. Adam, can you speak to, and also I really liked doing the lives. I know I looked like Kakalaka, but you guys were all friends, and so sometimes you just don't wear makeup. But
Yeah,
I
we're all
love
friends.
doing that. We're all friends. We're all part of the same community, and having Monica
Yeah.
there was amazing. But okay, so we're gonna do a piece on it. Just
Absolutely.
give us a second.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Adam, can you share some of yours?
Yeah, I'll briefly just say that the trip was amazing from beginning to end. Probably my favorite part of it was the event itself. The event was
that
put
was
on
amazing.
really, really well.
Yeah, good as gold.
Brian,
Did such a super job.
Daryl, Jared, Simon, you guys did an amazing job.
Amazing.
Hosts, you guys were all amazing. Everything was amazing again from beginning to end. Had a lot of fun with the Tasmanian Devils. I have some really, really good footage of that stuff too. I can't wait to show you guys that. But yeah, the trip itself was amazing. I got seasick. That was kind of, yeah. I've never got. And I got some really, really good footage of some whales. Okay, but in the midst of capturing that footage, man overboard, man down. Okay, but yeah, I mean the whole trip again in and of itself was absolutely amazing. Blessed to be a part of this community, and you get to see that community show up, which is so powerful and so cool to see every time. I think I'm kind of taken aback again with how strong this community really is, and how we're all really there for each other. And I think that's probably my favorite part about it.
Yeah,
So.
I have to agree. I mean, Brian and Daryl and Simon and everybody. What an incredible job. Jared, shout out to you. Megan misses you. I know she wishes that she was there with us. But yes, they did a phenomenal job in hosting. Everything. These men just do it right. They do it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was really special. Very, very special.
Yeah. I'll probably remember more things once my brain is.
I was just about to say, I'm still
functioning.
half asleep, guys. I'm on Australian time, so yeah, sorry about that.
Yes. Okay. And Rudy Scooty asks, what about XRP's use, value, and utility? Kind of depends on for whom. But the reality is everything is about to get a huge test. And I have not yet been asked back to the XRP event. I don't know whether or not I will be. I hope I am. I'm learning more and more about it. But I do have a challenge seeing the utility still for the normal public. I could see great utility for governments and central banks and corporations. I'm just not sure of the utility for the public yet. And Grandma's Gardening says, have you always been in Arizona? No, I have not. Actually, I was born in Kingston, New York. And then for many years, I did come out to the U of A in Tucson. And then I ended up, I lived in Las Vegas for a minute. That was one of the places that I would not pay for my children to go to college for different reasons. But then I lived in Florida for quite some time, first in Fort Myers and then in Sarasota. Sarasota is where I had my children back in 1981. And then when they were 6, that's when we moved to Arizona, and I've been here ever since. But my brother, Kerry, came out first, and he came out when I was 16. So that was the first time I came to Arizona. And I didn't like it at first because it was so brown, and I was used to so much green. But there's beauty in all of it. And now, obviously, I've been here. My daughters, actually, today's their birthday. So if they're watching this video, happy birthday, babies.
Happy birthday.
Yep. Yep. So I've been here for 37 years now. And I do love it. Most of my family is here, and that's why we came here. So, CryptoCat asks, are you familiar with XRP, what it's doing in the financial system? I would love to hear your opinion. Thanks. Let me just kind of get myself updated because like I said, I'm not sure what any of these cryptocurrencies do for the public. I can see what they do for governments. I can see what they do for central bankers, and I can see what they do for corporations, which is give them more control. I'd also like you to think in terms of cryptocurrencies, something like this, right? It's a 1, a dot, and a 0, 0. So, and it is a debt instrument, but it has limitations, right? Once we are in the cryptocurrency space, there could be as many numbers and zeros after that dot as they want without limitations, which means that they can really kind of take your wealth even more invisibly than the current inflation is. So let me get back to that. Let me get back to you on that, but I don't really see the utility for the public, other than as a trading vehicle. I see the utility more for central bankers and governments and corporations. And Luke Satcher asks, Sailor just bought a ton of Bitcoin, pump and dump. It is a pump and dump. It's not real. But here's what happens. When the prices go up, more people look at it. More people look at it, they get FOMO, fear of missing out, and they buy into it. That pushes the price even up and transfers the risk. But you tell me what the utility is. Many have tried. I know it's here to stay. I'm just not really sure who's going to survive this. And pump and dump, sure. And Jerry Sapp asks, didn't the U.S. really go off the gold standard in the early 30s? Well, that was the start of it, yes. 1913, when they shifted from, it used to be a 20th of an ounce of gold. This, okay? See how big that is? See how, here, I'll put my finger on the top so you could kind of see it a little bit better. And there you go. 20th of an ounce of gold would back a $1 bill, which means you could convert it into that gold coin, right? Backing means the ability to convert, not a peg. Do not mistake those two things. They are not the same. Okay. 1913, they legalized it and then allowed that little teeny 20th of an ounce to back $2.40. In 1933, they revalued it again, taking that 1 ounce gold coin from $22, what was the official? $20.67. Sorry. $20.67 and did an overnight revaluation to $35, again destroying the purchasing power. The last overnight revaluation was 1971 when it went from 35 fixed to 42.22, and that's why your new gold coins, this is the new one, has a face value of $50. Can you buy it for $50? Heck no. But that's the face value, because that's tied to the official U.S. price of gold. So the start was actually in the teens. That was the start. What happened in the 30s was we had the power, right? Because if we didn't like, and prior to 33, or between 13 and 33, actually even earlier than that, if you had a gold certificate, which I have somewhere in here. If you had a gold certificate, there you go, right? Gold certificate. You could walk into any bank with this and walk out with that, pulling the gold out of the system, making it harder for governments to grow debt. So in 33, what they did was they took our power to control them away. They took it away from us. And we could no longer walk into the bank with this and walk out with this. In 71, what Nixon did was eliminate other governments' abilities to convert dollars into gold. And then we went on a pure debt-based system. But remember, originally, can I pull up the purchasing power chart? Okay.
Sure, can let me know when you're.
Okay, let me go to.
Unless everything breaks, but we'll find out here in a minute.
We'll find out here in a minute. Let's see. Purchasing power of the consumer dollar. That's the one I want. Okay. I do believe I'm ready. Okay, so this is from the Federal Reserve Education Department, and here you can see, let me see, that there is a dollar bought 1.025 cents worth of goods and services, right? So that was the dollar. Yes, we've been going away from the gold standard since 1913, and by 1971, there was like 24 cents, like I showed you, to the dollar. Now, in terms of purchasing power, now officially it's 3 cents. So, but yeah, we started going off the gold standard a long time ago. But what I like is you can see with this one graph the transition, because here's your dollar, and then you had roughly a 50% loss of purchasing power because this 20th of an ounce, where originally it backed $1, now backed $2.40. That's why you lost all that purchasing power, because they printed a whole lot of money, new fiat money, to go into it. Then you had the roaring 20s because there was all of this money floating around in the system. Just like we have all of these inflated levels in the stock market and the real estate market and those areas that were targeted for reflation. And all those gray bars, when I show you these charts, those are official recessions, but boy, they can tell you whether they agree or not. And so the one in 2020, look at, you can barely see that line, can you? Boy, shortest recession ever, except we haven't even really come out of the one that started in 2008. So, I mean, this chart, I think, tells really the whole story. Can you see that zero right there? Okay, right? I don't know if you can see it, but I'll put my finger, oh, you can't see my finger either. But right down at the bottom is a big fat zero, right? That is the Federal Reserve telling you there is no value in that, no purchasing power value. So all of these, like we were talking about the yuan against the ruble, et cetera, that's all relative, right? Either way, every single currency is doing what I just showed you. It has virtually no purchasing power. Okay.
And I will say real quickly, if you don't mind me saying, we actually just did a video on that Fred chart breakdown. It's a 5-minute one. If you guys jump into that real quickly, I did some animations for it. It turned out really good.
Awesome.
Go check it out. It's only 5 minutes, and I think it'll really help you get a better understanding of that chart particularly.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Okay, and Ava G asks, Lynette, what are your thoughts on the euro in the short term? That actually is one of the PowerPoints that I have up, because what's happening is the euro is starting its breakdown, right? It pegged. Okay. In the 1940s, all currencies decided to peg their value against the dollar. Okay, and the dollar became the world reserve currency. But that was breaking down in the 60s, and there was a run against the dollar until the petrodollar was created. So in 1971, though, then we had free floating currencies, this currency against this currency, which is what we were talking about this morning. And then in the 90s, they created the euro by pegging a group of currencies together, and they became, then you had the euro. And actually, Arthur here has a lot of experience on that transition. So correct me if I say anything wrong, and pipe in with anything that you might want to add. Because in the 90s, when they created the euro, in order to do that, they devalued, and it varied a little bit from country to country. but they devalued the local currencies, they said, in order to go into this new currency that was going to be so fabulous. Arthur, why don't you tell them what your personal experience was, because he was in France during that period of time.
Yeah, so at that time when actually my parents had to convert their franc to euro, I remember the government were giving incentive for us to doing so, but most people actually, they were waiting until the last time to do it so, because we actually quickly realized that we are losing our purchasing power. So for example, when we pass from the franc to the euro, a simple baguette, a bread baguette, was costing 1 franc at the time. And 1 franc became actually...
How many francs to buy 1 euro? Do you remember? Was it
I think it was
1?
6 francs.
6 francs?
6 francs to get 1 euro. So basically now, if you wanted to get 1 baguette, you need to basically spend 6 times the amount that you were spending back then.
So just to kind of clarify, so how much was it in terms of francs? How much was that baguette before the conversion?
1 franc.
1 franc.
1 franc for 1 baguette.
Okay.
Yes.
And then after the conversion, it was 1 euro for 1
Yes.
baguette, right?
Yes, that's correct.
But
yes.
it cost you 6 francs to buy that 1 euro.
Yes, correct, yes. So
Okay.
you apply it for everything else, basically. So.
Now, if you had gold,
Oh, yeah, if I had gold, well, it would have held my purchasing power, and I would not have been losing money converting basically my franc towards the euro. And I wish I would have knew Lynette at that time. I wish my parents knew Lynette at that time.
well, here's the thing. We're going through another conversion, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Right? So that's why I'm encouraging everybody to buy gold, but convert. It's not really buying it. It's converting their worthless pieces of paper or digits in their account into sound money, into honest money. Because 100% of the time, historically, you can convert physical gold and silver into any other currency, and it holds its purchasing power. Just like I just showed you, with the Russian ruble. It's the same kind of thing. So my thoughts on the euro in the short term, and I'm going to be doing a deep dive into this because here's the truth. Historically, no pegs ever last. And once the euro was created, what happened was you basically had about half of the currencies in the world align with the euro, right? Peg their currencies to the euro, and about the other half of the world peg their currencies to the dollar. And so, then that system broke down, right? But what I see, I can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but I can tell you that I believe it has already begun, the breakdown of the euro. So stay tuned. That is one of the PowerPoints that I have up to be working on very, very quickly. And then I'm going to give it to these wonderful editors and executive producers to make sure that it is as clear and concise as possible, because it's a very big deal. And low blood pressure, Lynette, any strange food, koala burgers? No, I did not eat any koala burgers. I did, however, eat some phenomenal food. And of course, the best coffee I have ever had anywhere, no matter where I've traveled. The coffee in Australia is incredible. Was there anything? I'm trying to think.
I actually had something kind of interesting. A bay bug. Did you have any of the bay bugs?
Where?
There in Australia.
No, I mean, where did you have a bay bug?
Brisbane. Yeah.
And what restaurant were you at?
That was the one right across the.
Oh,
You know what I'm?
Yes,
You
I
know what I'm talking about?
But the bay bugs, they're more like
They're
little
like
lobsters,
they're like a lobster,
right?
but the name,
So it's-
bay bug. I mean, when you say that, you're like,
they're kind of like a
is this edible?
crawfish,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't have considered that strange food.
Oh, and you know what? We did
But the
actually
name.
eat a little bit of like the gold and silver. Remember that was the gold and silver was in the
On the pastries,
pastries,
a lot.
yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were using a lot of gold and silver on the pastries. I took lots of pictures for Chef Jason. Not that we're going to do that on a daily basis,
Right.
but we will do it when
Every now
we
and
have
then.
an event.
Yeah.
Well, when we have an event.
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
save that for then. So that's not the first time I've eaten gold or silver. So I'm trying to think.
I just remember the server saying, "Yeah, the bay bug is great. Give it a try." And I'm like, "Is it a cockroach, dude? Like I can't,
No,
I
it wasn't
can't
a
do this."
cockroach. No.
But
No,
no,
but
it's like a
what's
big
gonna
old
happen-
smaller lobster kind of thing, crawdad
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Good thing you're not going to Malaysia with us.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because I think that's where I'll probably be trying some very interesting food because I like to try the local food. Although I did not do any Vegemite this time, I find that a little salty, but I have in the past.
Yeah, we tried. I
Oh.
tried Vegemite.
Hi, Dad. And actually, I want to say hi to all you fathers out there, as well as all you mothers out there. And thank you so much for your support and listening to your children and participating in this, because after all, it is their inheritance that you're working with. Well, I mean... So, Miss Lynette, the Australian weather made you younger, full of vitality. Well, I don't know about the vitality, but you must be rested and doing well. Yes, I am doing well. Continue with your excellent work. And South Korea, oh my God. Glad you and your team are back. I bet you missed your son. We're glad to be back too. But anxious to go again, and that will probably happen. We don't have anything firm yet, but we've at least tentatively been invited for 2026, and our long trips are kind of booked out already for 2025. So yes, we're happy to be home, but sad to leave because honestly, I do. I mean, we were on that magnificent yacht of Good as Gold Australia's. I mean, that was pretty nice. I've never been on a yacht like that. That was pretty darn nice. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, we're happy to be back, but kind of sad to leave.
Oh yeah, I got good shots of that. Don't worry, we had a lot of fun, and I did not. Oh, I actually didn't get sick. No, I was
that
completely
wasn't
fine.
and
No.
then thank God he didn't get sick when I was there.
Right,
That's
no.
all I could say. I am like probably the least medical person that you could ever meet. And,
Right.
you know, when my girls would get sick, they would take care of each other. That's an awful thing to admit. But yeah, I have some good mom moments, but I definitely have some not so good mom moments. And RA Redacted 68 asks, how important is it to start collecting mint silver coins if the monetary system we have now crashes? Well, you can do mint silver coins. I mean, if you're talking about silver American Eagles, I don't have any of those. Do I in here? No, I have just the constitutional silver. But, I have Australian silver. I have Philharmonics. I have Silver Eagles. I mean, yeah, it's fine to accumulate that. Do them in fractional forms if you can. That's why I like the constitutional silver or even the rounds, because I can get the different sizes. And you want the different sizes for barterability. I think it's critically important. I don't know that it's that important for mint silver coins. I mean, here's some silver too.
Can you explain that difference between mint and...
Well, that'd be the new stuff that they're minting right now versus the pre-1964 that are 90% silver. Dimes, quarters, half dollars, dollars. But, and you guys know my tray of sterling silver, and I have lots more than this because gold and silver in any form are monetary at their base. So I think it's extraordinarily important. I don't know that it has to be mint silver, but certainly silver for your barterability. Absolutely. And Shabby Bush asks, with BRICS nations' desire to obtain real commodity assets, do you think the U.S. would ever revalue AU, SLV to pay down debts and hedge our liabilities by paying more U.S. dollars for the commodity to drain BRICS? Well, considering the fact that every single central bank has a gold revaluation account, I do see a revaluation of gold in our future, and along with that, the silver. But gold is the primary currency metal. It's what they do those overnight revaluations against. Silver is the secondary currency metal and maintains your ability to purchase the same goods and services over time, whereas gold expands your ability to purchase the same goods and service, and it's what they do the overnight revaluations again. So yes, I do think that we are going to see, look, I can't tell you if there's going to be an overt confiscation. What I can tell you is they can declare an emergency and do a huge sweep of IRAs, and we know this for an absolute fact. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. It is merely your perception of ownership. It does not hold up in a court of law. So you want it in your physical possession. And having said that, regardless of what I say, you have to do what you're comfortable with. I used to have an IRA. I don't have one anymore, though I have a very nice retirement account. But I control it. It's in my possession. And it's all collectibles. That's just the truth of it. And tidbits for life. Question, please. Bitcoin is currently going crazy with countries investing in Bitcoin. Do you believe the government is going to centralize Bitcoin and confiscate Bitcoin from the private owners? You know, if you go on to the Bank for International Settlements Money Flower, there is an area there for private cryptocurrencies. I do think that it's a Trojan horse, because they want you, and I'm going to do more on this now that I have a much better handle on how to show you. If you can have a little bit of patience with me. Do I think that they're going to confiscate Bitcoin? I think it's pretty easy to do. It's a digital asset. That's it. It's not really in your possession. I had Chef Jason say this morning that he's got it on a thumb drive and he doesn't touch it. What happens when you put it back into the system, right? Bitcoin is not outside of the system. Wall Street has adopted it. Will it survive? Yeah, but it's going to be very, very revalued. I'm not. How many times can you be lied to and you do not know the truth? Understand, I have a different perception because I've been studying currency life cycles and how they make these transitions since 1987. No, I don't think I think that they're pushing for it because they can't get adoption of the CBDCs, but I think they're using it to introduce and get you comfortable and get you in there. And after the euro, after that was in place, right? Did you have any choice after that?
Absolutely no choice. Like, actually, I asked my parents if we could go back to get some francs, and they told me, like, no, it's impossible. And I was very sad about it. So, no choice.
No choice. So that's the importance of getting into position now while you can. Because and this is our opportunity. I mean, that's the thing that really has me the most fired up, is that the opportunity to have a say in the new system is right now, not after it's already in place. Do I think when they come out with the Bitcoin reserves and the CBDCs and we've got this crisis and they say this will save us, do I think that that's the end of this? No, I do not. I think that this is our opportunity to come together in global community and have a nice quiet revolution just by converting this garbage that central banks admit is worth nothing. Whether it's dollars, euros, yen, I don't care what it is. It's worth zero. It's worth nothing. Admitted into honest and sound money. That's critical. Okay. Also, I like the conversation taking place with Adam. It makes you seem more approachable. I think I'm pretty approachable, right?
Yeah, she's super approachable.
Yes, and I got to meet a lot. That was the other thing that I absolutely loved, was getting to meet all of our, I don't want to call them fans, our community in Australia, and people, my gosh, they traveled so far just to be part of the event. And I can't even tell you how much I love that and appreciate it. And t-shirts, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You'll see more and more of this coming out. And do we have any more?
We have just one more question it's like more fun questions at this point about like Tasmania and kind of that
I
stuff.
love Tasmania. Oh my goodness, yeah.
But the other one, I'm just going to read them real quickly because they're kind of
Okay.
more like, some people were saying, you look amazing without makeup. Don't worry about it. You can do live streams whenever you want to. I thought you would like that. And
Thank you so
then,
much. I don't know that I believe you. I think you're just in love with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Who won Good as Gold Australia cruise? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I
Let's
didn't
see if we
that.
can find out.
Yeah, I didn't see. I know someone got it, but
Someone got it.
I don't know.
I
who
don't
it
know, but I'll
was.
tell you what, that boat is, as the younger kids say,
Yeah.
sick.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it was so
4
sick.
bedrooms. How many? 3
4
or
bedrooms.
2 bathrooms? Or
Yeah,
3 bathrooms?
3 bathrooms.
Small.
3
3
bathrooms.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
upstairs, downstairs. I mean, it was wild.
It was.
I have footage.
This,
I have footage.
this was certainly by far the nicest yacht that I've ever been on.
Absolutely.
It's not a mega yacht.
No,
What
it's.
is it?
I don't know. It's way up
because
there.
there's like a.
There's tiers to it.
It's
It's a
pretty
super-
nice.
It was really, really nice. It was beautiful. It was absolutely
And of course,
beautiful.
Good as Gold Australia. I mean, I love them. The dinner that they hosted and the event, they know. These gentlemen know how to do it. They really do.
Crypto Cat. I'm sorry, I wanted to read the comment because it was a very nice thing. I value your opinion, investment professional, very wise woman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Everyone's saying, welcome back. Good to see you. There's someone who just joined the stream and they have a question. Any forecasts on the stock market or crypto? That was from Armo.
Look, I think both of them are most likely to melt up before they crash, right? And, and honestly, when you look at any of the stock charts, et cetera, prior to a crash, what you see is the melt up. And we know the severe overvaluation. I think that's going to be we're on a honeymoon right now of hopium, and they're trying to prepare us for higher inflation. How's that going to impact you? So I put it on my calendar to see where the inflation was, 1 year ago. I think from the election or something like that. I think it's going to be considerably higher. So I think that we're in melt up.
Melt up. Last question for today is going to be from Adrian Finley. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I got the name right. Maple or Eagle? If you are purchasing, which one are you buying?
Huh?
Silver, maple, eagle.
Oh, silver or gold?
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean,
silver?
they're saying maple or eagle. I'm guessing. You will tell us the difference.
Okay,
what
if
do you
it's
think?
silver-
There you go.
Either one. Probably I'd have to double check. But wherever you are in the world, whatever their silver coin is usually carries a little bit of a premium above the others. But do I really think that matters at the end of the day? Honestly, I don't. I own silver maple leaves. I own silver eagles. And I own a bunch of constitutional silver and sterling silver. If we're talking about gold, then I have to say neither one, because for me, that is bullion, and that is the most likely to be confiscated. If you can hold it inside of your IRA, and it's easy enough to go in and check that, then I personally don't own it other than my travel bracelet, which has some eagles in it, and this one so that I can hold it up when I talk about it. I'm not a big believer in bullion. I'm not, because historically in this country, it's been confiscated 3 times in the past. And we're looking around the globe and we're seeing confiscations happen. They may call them royalties. They may call them inflations. They may call them lots of different names. But a rose by any other name is still a rose. Or I kind of like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and lays eggs like a duck, it's probably a duck. So for protection, because I am really working hard on executing the strategy so that on the other side of this mess, I've built generational wealth for my children and my grandchildren and everybody's children. So I think it's really important. It's good to be back. As tired as I am, as you guys know, I would not have missed the live for anything. We had to get up pretty darn early in order to do it in Australia, and I'm happy to do it. Always happy to do it. And I'm trying to get better at doing those selfie things so that when I can't take anybody with me, which we won't be able to do when we do Malaysia,
Right.
Because there's no videoing
Correct.
allowed.
Correct.
You're just going to get me. And that's kind of scary. So I'm trying to get used to it now and create a habit because I'm here for you guys. And I think I hope I'm really approachable. I mean, I'm the same as everybody else. I've just had different experiences, and my job is to share that experience with you and help you translate that financial noise into understandable language that helps you put your best interest first. What a concept. What a concept. So, approach me. I think people at the event, Good as Gold Australia event, found me really approachable. And gosh, I was even walking the path last night when one of my neighbors was walking through with her puppy, and her puppy pooped in one of my gardens, and she cleaned it up, but it's like, please don't bring the dogs through my gardens. But that was kind of approachable too. Anyway, I think that's pretty much about it for today. Thank you all for showing up. I mean, I love you, Australia. For those watching, I love you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. And I 100% know that together we can make a positive difference for a lot of people. Let's put sound money back in the system again. And until next we meet, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.